Why ink your drawing? It's a question that I got for you, and I got an answer for you. If you want good, solid prints and pages that can be colored easily and add motion and depth to your drawings, that's why we ink. So this is Lug, the artist, self-taught artist, no reference channel here. We're going to get into the reasons why we ink and a couple of different methods of inking your drawing. So let's get into it. Now, I do want to discuss a couple of different ways that you can ink your drawing. Uh, for me personally, the first easiest way, of course, is take your original work, your original pencil, and just ink directly over it. That's the easiest way, but for me, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I love keeping my original the way that my original is supposed to be, and then going a different method. So the first method we're going to talk about is inking with trace paper. So the old school method to inking, I know you mentioned old school a lot, which is okay because you guys go try it true. So you used to have a light table uh, in order to ink your image. So what you would do is put that trace paper on there. For this one specifically, I used trace paper, didn't have a light table that was available, but the trace paper is still good enough to where you can see the image behind it. And I'm using, our micro pens. There's different sizes that you can use. Normally, the smaller the number, the finer the detail. And I taped it, and I got two light sources coming in so that I could see the original image, and I'm just more or less tracing over it. So before technology got so great, it's how some of the artists in the past used to be able to fake the font that they actually drew something, and just use some trace paper, go over that bad boy, and then call it their own. So it is a traditional way, a physical way of actually inking your image. What I like to do is typically I will always start off with my darks and start with my darks first, and then kind of work from there. Start with the bold darks with a brush pen, or you can use a marker. It is trace paper. So even if you mess up, all you gotta do, get rid of that piece of paper, put on another trace paper, tape it down so that way it doesn't move, and then you can just get back to work. So working on the witch now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, yeah, inking, it ain't on point on this one, and that's okay because I'm really not going to use this one for anything except for this demonstration. But this is one of the oldest methods. Light table, have trace paper, still protect your original image. You can make a pretty clear print off the trace paper that you can then send get color. Second method we're gonna talk about is inking digitally. So what I mean by digitally is I use a program, it's Clip Studio. They're not paying me for this. Eventually they will pay me for this. So when you're going about it digitally, it is the process, the digital form of more or less using trace paper. So you have your original image, you place a layer on top of that original image, and then you ink like normal. You select the correct tool, you can vary up your line depth with, different grades of of the pen, like a point 0.3, a 2.0. There's all different types that you can use. So I want to show in this example what I do as a lugged artist. I always start off with my darks. So that kind of gives me a general idea of where I want to go with the image and the type of mood I want to go in, and also reestablish kind of my light and my darks. So as I'm going through, and I mentioned this before in a video, traditional drawing or digital, I prefer traditional all day long, because with the digital drawing, even though you could get the same thing, it's just a lot more. I'm more comfortable with the pen and paper than I am on inking or drawing on a glass surface with the digital pen. What would take me forever to do digitally, I could also go through it a lot faster with the standard, pen and paper. So I wanted to show on this one how it looks if you were to ink it digitally. You still get the crisp lines, you still can do a lot, and then it goes immediately into being able to color off that digital image by adding a new layer, sectioning off the certain anatomy, adding the colors. It can all be done on one file. So that is just wanting to go through the different method for you. It's not a method that I prefer to use, and get into a little bit more on what I like to do when I ink. Time to show you Lug the Artist inking method. So my preferred method for inking my drawings is not with the trace paper. It used to be, but it was kind of missing something when I would go over something with the trace paper, because how I draw with my pencil, I put in a lot of little extra details, a lot of little lines. So I wasn't getting the same type of quality that I wanted for my ink pictures. It's like taking away a part of the artistry. Now, if we had a big budget here at Bootleg Operations with self-taught, no reference Lug the Artist, then I could just hand my pencils off to an inker that would be able to bring out the lights, the darks, the shadows, put their own spin on setting the mood according to the story. But guess what? That ain't in the budget. So my preferred method, I love keeping my original, the original. The original's always going to be the one with the non-photo blue pencil word. You probably going to see a few erase lines, whatever else. I think there's authenticity in keeping that original. So instead of the trace paper method or doing it digitally, because I've said this once before, when you're working on something digitally, there are so many ways to fake the funk like you really drew something. And I thought about putting it in this video as kind of a spoiler alert, but time got away from me. I got these videos out, so I didn't go with showing you that. And if you would like to see what I mean, leave a few comments below in the video, and then we can explore that idea if that's something that interests you. I'm probably gonna do it any damn way. That's just me. So digitally, I was having the same issue as what I did with the trace paper, to where the quality of pencil work, I won't say the quality, the feeling of the drawing that I'm doing is getting lost in translation. So the method I figured out for myself is to make a copy of my original, and with that copy, using my printer, the non-photo blue, print it out 11 by 14, is to go in ink on the actual copy of my drawing. The lines are a little bit easier to follow. I'm using my natural instincts with the pencil and the paper as far as inking the drawing. And then I get to keep all that grit to what I was working on, as you can tell in the drawing that I'm working on Dracula, you know. So I explained his story in a couple of videos ago. So the micro pens that I'm using, that I used on the trace paper, it ranged from, I think, the 0.03, 0.08, 0.05. Those are for some of the smaller details. I use the brush tip pen. That is how I got those darker, you can even use a plain old marker if you like, for those darks. So this is the way that I prefer to ink my drawings. It works for me. So while I work on this, guess what my lug is? Got an actual tip for you. Guess what, my lug heads? I'm gonna go ahead on. I'm gonna save the tips for another video. You know how I get when I get started on trying to teach y'all something, I can get a little wordy. So it was way too long to add to this particular video. So I'll put that out on the next video, those tips I want to give you. But to recap, we went over why do we ink our drawings, to establish those lines, add the depth, the darkness, set the mood. Went over traditional ways of inking as far as using trace paper in a light table, which I don't own at this moment. We went over how to ink digitally using Clip Studio, applying the layers from there, and then finally, this is my preferred method of inking, to where I make a copy of my original. With that copy, I ink the copy, able to use my micro pens, different grades as far as the line depth, with like 03, 05, 08, the brush tip. This is how I ink my drawings. So what I challenge you to do is find the method that works best for you. Some people are going to find that a trace paper method is great. Some people only draw digitally and use that as a way of inking their images to kind of bypass, the physical paper. It's up to you as an artist to figure out what's going to work best for you to get across your ideas as close as possible so that the world can enjoy it. So if you enjoy my stuff, the best way to help me out, like, subscribe, definitely leave a comment below. I know how those likes be working sometimes. I'll like one video and then I get like 15 videos of similar content, and sometimes I don't want to be overwhelmed by that content. So the comments and the watch time, you want to help artists out, That's the best way to support me. So I appreciate y'all watching. Until next time, my little kids, love y'all.